Hello, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight to listen to my speech on drugs. Tonight I'm not going to talk about the drugs that you pick up on the corner of 25th and 8th Street. Tonight I'm going to talk about the drugs in your medicine cabinet. Prescriptions. In the last 2 years, the prescription number has soared for many reasons, some of those being new drugs introduced to the market and Medicare picking up more prescriptions. Sometimes you need those meds, but there are times when doctors prescribe pills and don't give it a whole lot of thought for a number of reasons that I'm going to talk about. Why do you have to listen to me? Well, I've done a little bit of research because I am a nurse and I do see pills a lot through the day. And I also like to know what these pills do and how they work together. So now let's talk about the pills you do need. For diabetics, it is very important that they follow their drug regimens. If they do not control their blood sugar, a number of side effects can happen from that. Therefore, these medications that they take help stabilize their insulin and blood sugar levels, and it's very important. I can't stress that enough. Congestive heart failure is another illness in which medication is important. Without these medications, the risk of heart attack increases drastically. Liver disease is another illness in which you must take your medication, because we all know how important the liver is. And mental illnesses is the final, most popular listed medication that is necessary. Now, let's talk about what meds. Are they necessary? Are they not? I'll let you decide. But first, let's talk about why any medicine could be bad. Take, for instance, your 80-year-old Grandma Nettie. Now, if she's put on the same amount of prescription that your best friend, a 250-pound heavyweight wrestler, is put on, do you think that his body is going to respond to that medicines like her body? The answer is no. Another reason that it matters to know the person is everyone's body chemistry is different. And sometimes people have a higher tolerance to medications. Sometimes half the pill will knock them out for 2 weeks. Another problem, and this is a big problem especially in the elderly population, polypharmacy, taking many pills at once, or even using different pharmacies at once. But I could talk about that for a long time, and I choose not to. So first we're going to talk about the medicines that can be problems. By show of hands, how many of you would take a pill that can cause heart attack, stroke, and death? Interesting. Does anybody know what that pill's for? That's an arthritis medication. Actually, there's several of them. Bextra, Celebrex, and Vioxx. Some of you may have taken those. Perhaps your mother took those. COX-2 inhibitors are very much like Aleve, aspirin, Tylenol, ibuprofen, in that they help with inflammation. However, after being introduced to the market, it was found that they were causing heart attack, stroke, death. So they were pulled off the market. Celebrex was reintroduced to the market with a little black box on the label that should hopefully ward people away, but yet millions of scripts for Celebrex are written every year. There's something to think about. Antidepressants. Even celebrities want to talk about antidepressants. I'm sure many of you remember Tom Cruise and Brooke Shields and their little argument on antidepressants. On here, I have Prozac at the therapist. It says fame, fortune, all the attention. I'm depressed. It was bound to happen. Now that's comical, but let's talk about the downside of antidepressants for a while. Just informal research that I've done. I've asked several people what their opinions on antidepressants, and some people that I talked to said that while they were on antidepressants, they actually felt worse than they did before they started taking them. Also, it cannot be argued that since the introduction of antidepressants into the market, there have been an increase in teenage suicides, homicides, and erratic behaviors. It even warns on the labels that children and young adults and teenagers should not take antidepressants. Therefore, my question is, why are they still being prescribed? So you might be listening to this speech and wonder to yourself, I take Paxil, maybe I'll just flush it down the toilet. Not so fast. You familiar with heroin withdrawal, anyone? I'm sure you've heard a little bit about it. I'm not suggesting that anyone's actually withdrawn from heroin. However, antidepressants have a withdrawal very similar to heroin. Once they start taking them, if they do not taper off, they can experience symptoms as weak as tingling lips, sweating, nausea, or they can have heart attack and even death. Something to consider. So, what can we do about this problem? Things are being done. I'm sure you've all seen the little Viagra ink pens or the Vicodin paper tablets. 2009, we won't see those anymore. Drug representatives are not allowed to give those out anymore, effective January 1st, 2009. What else can we suggest? When you go to the doctor for a visit, you pay on average anywhere from $80 to $150 for a visit. Why not make use of that time and money and talk to your doctor before he pulls out that pad and writes you a prescription? Ask him, doctor, let's talk about the medicines I already take, the necessity of this pill you're about to write for me, and how long will I have to take this before I can stop taking it? Now, again, I am no doctor, but I think that it is very important that before you just put any pill in your mouth, you know where it's going. Anyone have any questions?
No.
Thank you all for coming out.